The release of a bombshell documentary that makes serious allegations against Mr. Russel Brand, one of the most important questions to ask is, what happens next? If you've seen the documentary, 4 complainants, anonymized, give their version of how Mr. Brand abused and assaulted them in meaningful and awful ways. There is also considerable collateral from other people who say that Mr. Brand's conduct during this period of time was well known and inappropriate. Leaving aside the merits of any argument and leaving aside the complexities of victims having every single right to tell their story, including through the media, and people being entitled to due process when it comes to them and the evidence against them, the question becomes what happens next. Now, Mr. Brand has responded. He made a short video where he discussed how he denied these allegations and said that they were untrue. Now, I would be surprised if Mr. Brand is not currently receiving extensive legal advice in relation to whether or not he should take this matter to court. Mr. Brand is entitled to do so, and he would file what is called a defamation action. He would essentially say that this is untrue and it's damaged my reputation. Defamation is complicated. There is no easy answer as to whether that's a good thing to do or a bad thing to do. You might recall, for example, a specific soldier here in Australia who decided to say something was defamatory, and in doing so, a court found, after examining all the evidence, that he was in fact a war criminal. You may also recall a famous actor in Hollywood who took a matter to court in the United Kingdom and lost, but then won it in the United States. So choosing not to take it to court doesn't necessarily mean that you don't agree that it's defamatory. You might have a different reason for doing so. And the bringing of criminal sanctions, that's a matter for the police or the Crown Prosecuting Service. That is a matter whereby they would no doubt be taking instructions, taking advice, and if they believe that these allegations were appropriate to bring before a court, they might choose to do so. Essentially, there are a lot of moving parts right now in relation to this. I finally want to bring up an important point. Victims should be believed, and everybody has a right to tell their story. And people, even people accused of horrible things, are entitled to due process, and they're entitled to test the evidence that people say and do about them. This balance is hard. It is very hard. It's the reason we simply can't say that just because we think someone looks or acts guilty, that they're guilty. And in the same way, we can't simply disregard people because we think they're having a pot shot at someone powerful. It is a complex balancing act. It is something that we as a society are constantly trying to get right. And thankfully, we live in a society where there is enough safeguards that a victim feels they have the courage to tell their story. Because I can't imagine how scary that would be. Follow me for more legal TikTok.